have you ever thought about how a tiny, handmade boat set afloat at sunrise could connect a whole culture to its incredible seafaring past? Well, today, we're diving into Kartika Purnima, an ancient festival from the Indian state of Odisha that does exactly that.
I mean, just picture it. Thousands of people gathering by the water as the sun comes up, all to launch these little tiny boats. But this isn't just for looks. This one single act is this amazing link to a history of some pretty daring adventures and incredible prosperity. So what's it all about?
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll look at this festival of tiny boats, figure out why it happens on the holiest full moon, and explore its ancient maritime roots. Then, we'll decode the special chant they sing for a safe return, and, finally, see how it connects the past to the world today.
All right, let's start with the absolute heart of the celebration, this beautiful dawn ritual that really makes the whole festival so unique. The ceremony itself is called Boita Bandhana, which literally means the worship of boats. And that phrase right there, it just perfectly captures the deep respect and the history that's packed into this one tradition. So just as the sun is starting to peek over the horizon, you've got families, everyone from grandparents to little kids coming together at the water's edge. And they're all there for one reason, to gently push these beautiful little boats out onto the water. It creates this amazing spectacle of light and hope.
And these aren't just any boats, you know? Each little boyara is so carefully put together. The hull is often made from the stalk of a banana plant. Then it's filled with all these symbolic offerings, betel leaves, nuts, flowers, even coins to represent prosperity. And the final touch? A tiny lit lamp, a little beacon of faith floating away on the current.
So we know what happens, but why on this particular day? Well, as it turns out, the timing is absolutely everything.
The whole ceremony happens on what's called Kartika Purnima. In the Hindu lunar calendar, Purnima means full moon, and Kartika is a specific month that usually falls around October or November.
But get this, it's the sheer importance of this one day that really matters. The whole month of Kartika is considered holy, yeah, but this specific full moon is believed to be the single most sacred, most spiritually powerful day of all. That makes it the perfect time for a ritual this important.
And this brings us to the incredible history behind it all, the story that gives this ritual its deep meaning. We're going to have to go way back in time, to an age of epic sea voyages. Right at the center of this story are the Sadabas. These guys were the legendary mariner merchants of ancient Odisha, which back then was known as Kalinga. Think of them as the master traders and sailors of their time, famous for their courage and their wild success. Now, the Satabas didn't just sail down the coast. Nope. They set out on these long, dangerous journeys across the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean. These trips were full of risk, for sure, but the rewards were huge. They brought back wealth, yeah, but also new ideas, art, and stories that created this amazing cultural exchange that shaped the whole region. And just look how far their influence spread. We're talking about places that are still famous today. The islands of Java, Sumatra, and Bali in what's now Indonesia, plus Sri Lanka. For its time, this was a massive global trade network, moving spices, textiles, precious metals, and culture itself. So here's the connection. Every single tiny boat that's floated on Kartika Purnima is a direct tribute to the Sadavahas. The whole festival is this huge, collective act of remembrance. It's a way for an entire culture to say, we remember your bravery, and we celebrate the prosperity you brought us. But it's not just about the visuals. There's also the sound of the festival, a really powerful and specific folk chant that everyone sings as they release their boats. As the boats are set afloat, you just hear this chant echoing everywhere. Ah, come a boy, Panagua Thoy. It's this rhythmic, melodic phrase that's been passed down for generations. So what does it actually mean? Okay, this is where it gets really cool. The chant isn't just a few random sounds. It's actually a kind of mnemonic device, like a coded calendar for the whole sailing journey. A is for Ashadha, when the season started. Ka is for Kartika, the month they leave. Ma is for Maga, a month spent at sea, and Boy stands for Baisakha, the month they were expected to finally come home. So in just 4 little syllables, that chant tells the entire story of a long, dangerous sea voyage. It's both a loving farewell to the sailors leaving and a deep, heartfelt prayer for their safe passage and hopefully a prosperous return.
All right, let's bring it all together. Let's see how this ancient memory is not just surviving, but absolutely thriving as a living tradition today.
This comparison really gets to the heart of it. What was once a real, life-or-death journey for trade is now a symbolic act of faith. What used to be a literal goodbye to family members has become a huge celebration of cultural pride. The driving force has shifted from commerce to tradition, but that hope for prosperity, that has never changed. And that is exactly why this matters so much. Boita Bandana isn't just a history lesson. It takes a memory from hundreds of years ago and makes it real, tangible, and something people share together. It's a living, breathing celebration that brings the whole community closer. So let's do a quick recap. Kartika Purnima is a huge festival in Odisha. At its heart is the ritual of Boita Bandana, which honors those ancient mariners, the Sadabas. It's all about remembering a rich history of trade with Southeast Asia, and that entire legacy is kept alive today through these beautiful symbolic rituals and that powerful coded chant.
It's really an amazing example of how the past can stay with us in such a meaningful way. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. What traditions exist in your own culture that act as that same kind of bridge, connecting you directly to the stories and the spirit of your ancestors?